You did not stop here by accident. Out of everything competing for your attention right now, out of every scroll and every distraction, and every voice pulling you in a different direction, something quieter than all of that brought you here. A pull you cannot fully explain. A feeling sitting just beneath your chest that whispered, "This one, stop here." Do not ignore that feeling, because what you are about to hear is not a general message scattered into the wind, hoping someone catches it. This is specific. This is for the person who has quietly wondered whether real love, the kind that chooses you fully, the kind that does not make you earn your place, whether that kind of love still has your name on it. And the answer is yes. But there is something else. Something that may surprise you. Something that may even make you uncomfortable before it makes you feel free. Someone younger than you is ready to start a life with you, not a passing interest, not a temporary curiosity. A life, commitment, presence, the kind of readiness that most people twice their age have never found inside themselves. This person has been circling your world, maybe already in it, maybe arriving very soon, and they are carrying something rare, a love that is not confused about what it wants. But there is one condition, and it is not about your age. It is not about your appearance. It is not about anything you need to change on the outside. The condition lives inside you. By the time this message is finished, you will know exactly what it is, and more importantly, you will know that you are already closer to meeting it than you think. Stay here. This was meant for you. Before we speak about what is coming, we have to speak about what you survived, because you did not arrive at this moment lightly. You arrived here carrying years, and some of those years were beautiful, but many of them were heavy in ways you never fully showed the world. You smiled through dinners when your heart was hollow. You gave advice about love to other people while quietly wondering if you had somehow missed your own window. You loved people who were not ready for you. You poured yourself into relationships that asked everything of you and returned very little. You made yourself smaller so someone else could feel larger. You waited. You adjusted. You convinced yourself that this was just what love looked like, that the ache you carried was normal, that wanting more was selfish, that perhaps you were simply asking for too much. And somewhere along the way, a thought crept in that you may not have said out loud to anyone. Maybe this part of my life is over. Maybe real love, the breathless, chosen, I want to build something with you kind of love. Maybe that was for younger people, for people with fewer chapters, for people who had not already been through what you have been through. So you did something quietly devastating. You started editing your own desires. You stopped letting yourself imagine a partner who looked at you with wonder. You stopped picturing mornings with someone who reached for you first. You called it being realistic. You called it growing up. But deep down, you knew what it really was. It was grief. Grief for a version of love you stopped believing you deserved. And then, if a younger person ever showed interest, ever looked at you with something warm in their eyes, you dismissed it before it could begin. You told yourself a story before the story had a chance to breathe. They don't really mean it. They'll move on. Someone like that isn't serious about someone like me. You protected yourself by leaving before you could be left. Can I tell you something? That protection cost you. Not because you were wrong to guard your heart. Your heart earned its walls honestly. But because the person who is coming toward you right now is not the same story you survived before. They are not arriving to take. They are not arriving confused or careless or half-present. They are arriving ready. And for the first time in a long time, the question is not whether they are serious. The question is whether you will let yourself believe it. That answer, that one quiet, trembling answer, is everything before we go further. And what comes next is the part that will genuinely shift something in you. I want to take a moment to speak directly to everyone who is here with us right now. If this message is already touching something real inside you, if you felt something in the last few minutes that you have not felt in a while, that is not coincidence. This channel exists for exactly this reason. Every single video here is built to do one thing: to reach you at the moment you need it most, and to remind you of what you may have forgotten about yourself. So if you have not subscribed yet, please do that right now. Hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and select all notifications. Because every video on this channel carries a message that could arrive at exactly the right moment in your life. Do not miss it. Now, let's talk about why this is happening to you and why it is happening now, not 5 years ago, not 5 years from now, but in this exact season of your life. Carl Jung once wrote that we do not attract what we want. We attract what we are, not what we perform, not what we project, what we genuinely are at the level beneath words, beneath the version of ourselves we show at dinners and in photographs, the level where our real beliefs about love, about worth, about what we deserve, where those beliefs live quietly and shape everything. For most of your life, something at that deep level held a particular belief. It said, love is something I have to earn. Love is something I have to be careful with. Love is something that has conditions, and I may not meet them. That belief did not come from nowhere. It came from experience, from people who taught you, not with words but with their actions, that love was transactional. That affection was a reward for behavior, that you had to be a certain way to be worthy of being chosen. And so you moved through relationships carrying that invisible weight, always slightly performing, always slightly braced, always waiting for the moment the other person finally saw something in you that made them pull away. But something changed, not suddenly, not dramatically, quietly, the way real change always happens. Over weeks or months, or perhaps even years, you started making different choices, small ones. You stopped sending that message you would have sent before. You stopped accepting treatment that left you feeling less than. You stopped explaining yourself to people who had already decided how they felt about you. You started, slowly, imperfectly, sometimes only for a moment before fear crept back in, choosing yourself. You may not have even recognized it as a shift. It may have felt like giving up, or going quiet, or simply being tired. But the universe does not make errors in its accounting. Every time you chose your own dignity over your fear of being alone, something was being recorded, something was being arranged. The younger person who is ready to come into your life, they are not here by accident either. They have done their own work. They have asked their own questions. They have decided, with a clarity unusual for their years, that they do not want a kind of love that is small or scared or half-committed. They want something real. And real is exactly what you've become through every hard year, every silent grief, every morning you got up and tried again. The condition, the one thing standing between you and this love, is beginning to reveal itself, and you are more ready to meet it than you know. Let's talk about this person, not in vague, floating terms, not in the kind of soft language that could mean anyone or no one. Let's talk about them specifically because they are specific. They are real, and the picture of who they are deserves more than generalities. This is someone who moves through the world differently than the people you have loved before. Their age is younger than yours, perhaps by several years, perhaps by more. But when you are in their presence, age becomes a strange and irrelevant thing, because the way they listen, the way they pay attention, the way they go still when something matters, that is not the energy of someone immature. That is the energy of someone who has already chosen, early in their life, to take love seriously. They are not looking for entertainment. They are not looking for something casual to fill a season. When they imagine their future, they do not see a temporary companion. They see a foundation. They see someone to build with. And when they think of building, when they close their eyes and picture the person standing beside them in that life, the image that comes is someone like you. Watch for these signs. They remember the small things you say, details you mentioned once briefly, that you yourself forgot. They bring them back later, not to impress you, but because they were genuinely listening. They ask questions that go deeper than surface. They are not uncomfortable with your history. They do not flinch at your complexity. In fact, your depth is precisely what draws them in, because they have spent enough time around shallow water to recognize the ocean when they are standing in front of it. They pause when something reminds them of you. A song, a place, a certain kind of light in the late afternoon. Something stops them mid-motion, and for a moment they are completely somewhere else. They are thinking of you, and there is nothing complicated in that feeling for them. It is simply true, simply felt, simply real. They are not afraid of your age. They are not tolerating it. They are drawn to it, to the steadiness you carry, to the way you do not panic over small things, to the quiet confidence that only comes from having survived what you have survived. They are not looking for a younger version of you. They are looking for exactly the version of you that exists right now. and they are ready. The question, the only question, is whether you are ready to be found. We are at the center of this message now, the part that everything else has been building toward. And before I speak it, because it deserves to land in the right way, in a moment of stillness, I want to pause for just a breath. If you have been watching this channel, and these messages keep finding you at the exact moment you need them, that is not random. This channel is built for people who are ready to stop settling for emotional scraps and start understanding what they actually deserve. Please subscribe right now if you have not already. Click the button, hit the bell, choose all notifications, because the message that changes everything for you might be the very next one we release. Do not let it pass you by. Now, the condition, you have been waiting for it. You felt it coming the hook. You felt it building through every chapter, and now here it is. Plainly, honestly, with nothing softened. The condition is this. You must stop apologizing for who you are, not in the obvious ways. You probably stopped doing that years ago. Stop the visible shrinking. Stop the over-explaining to people who did not deserve your explanations. That work is done. That is not what this is about. This is about the subtle apology, the one that lives so deep inside you that you stop noticing it. The apology in the way you laugh, and then immediately check whether someone found it too loud. The apology in the way you start sentences with, I know this might sound strange, but... The apology in the way you feel the need to justify your age, your past, your choices, as though the fact that you lived a full life is something you owe an explanation for. That is the condition. This younger person, the one who is ready, the one who sees you with clear and unafraid eyes, they cannot build a life with someone who is still half disappeared. They are not coming to rescue you. They are coming to stand beside you. And you cannot be stood beside if you keep folding yourself into corners. The love that is approaching requires you to take up space, not aggressively, not performatively, simply fully, to walk into a room and not immediately calculate whether you are too much or not enough, to receive a compliment without deflecting it into the floor, to say, I want this without flinching at the sound of your own desire. That is the condition. And the extraordinary thing, the thing that should make you exhale right now, is that you are already meeting it. You just have not given yourself permission to believe that yet. The universe does not arrange something of this significance in silence. When a love like this is being prepared, when two people are being moved toward each other across the ordinary geography of daily life, there are signs. Not dramatic signs, not lightning and sudden visions, quiet ones, the kind that are easy to dismiss if you are not paying attention. But you have been paying attention, haven't you? Think about the last few weeks. Think about the moments that felt slightly out of the ordinary, the interactions that lingered a little longer than expected, the feelings that arrived without obvious cause. Because some of what you are about to recognize, you have already felt. You simply did not have a name for it until now. You have been feeling lighter. Not because your circumstances changed dramatically. Not because a problem resolved itself. But somewhere beneath the surface, something released. A tension you have been carrying so long it felt like part of your body. Something in that tension quietly loosened. You may have noticed it as a better night of sleep. A moment of unexpected peace in the middle of an ordinary afternoon. A feeling brief but real that something good was on its way. That was not imagination. That was preparation. You have been dreaming differently, not necessarily vivid, story-driven dreams, though perhaps those too, but a quality of dreaming that feels less chaotic, less like processing old wounds and more like rehearsing something new. A warmth that follows you out of sleep into morning. A feeling of having been somewhere good, even when the details dissolve the moment you open your eyes. Someone has been thinking about how to reach you right now, not metaphorically, not spiritually only, but in the actual daily movements of an actual person. Someone is navigating the question of you. They are thinking about the right moment. They are noticing the space your presence creates. They are aware, in a particular and concentrated way that only genuine feeling produces, that you are not someone to approach carelessly. And you have felt this without knowing what you were feeling. A sense of being watched, not uncomfortably, not with threat, but with a kind of warm attention that makes the back of your neck priceless and your chest open slightly without your permission. These are not coincidences to explain away. These are coordinates. The love that is meant for you does not arrive announced. It arrives in small, undeniable moments that your body recognizes before your mind catches up. Your body already knows. The rest of you is almost ready. So now you know. You know who is coming. You know what they are carrying. You know the condition, and you know, somewhere beneath all the old protective layers, that you are already moving toward meeting it. But knowing is only the beginning, because understanding something in your mind and actually living it in your body, in your daily choices, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, that is where the real work happens. So let's talk about what to do now. The first thing, and this may be the most important thing in this entire message, is to stop leaving rooms before you arrive in them. You know exactly what this means. You walk into a situation, a conversation, a connection, and before it has a chance to become anything, you have already written the ending in your head, already decided it will not work, already protected yourself from a disappointment that has not happened yet. That habit kept you safe for years. It also kept you alone. It is time to stay, not recklessly, not without discernment, but with the willingness to let something unfold at its own pace without strangling it with your fear before it has drawn its first breath. The second thing is to receive without deflecting. When this person looks at you with warmth, and they will, your instinct will be to redirect it, to say something self-deprecating, to minimize what they are offering, to find a way to make their affection smaller, so it feels less dangerous to accept. Notice that instinct, and then gently, firmly choose differently. Let the warmth land. Let it sit. Let it be real without immediately questioning whether it is real. You have spent years giving. You are extraordinary at giving. Now comes the part that is harder for people like you, receiving. The third thing is to stop treating your age as an apology. Your years are not a burden this person is being asked to overlook. Your years are the exact thing that makes you remarkable to them. The steadiness in your voice, the way you do not collapse over small crises, the depth in your eyes that only comes from having genuinely lived. They are not loving you in spite of your story. They are in love with the person your story built. Walk like that is true. Speak like that is true. Make decisions, starting today, starting now, starting with the next person who shows you genuine warmth, like that is true, because it is. Let me paint you a picture, not a fantasy, not an escape from reality. A genuine, specific, fully imagined picture of what this life, the life being arranged for you right now, actually looks like from the inside. There is a morning, an ordinary morning, the kind that does not announce itself as significant. Light coming through a window, the smell of something warm. And beside you, not as a dream, not as a wish you are careful not to hold too tightly, but a simple, unremarkable, glorious fact. There is this person, younger in years, ancient in the ways that matter, and they are reaching for you first, not because they feel obligated, not out of routine, because you are the first thing they want when they surface from sleep, because being near you is, for them, the definition of being home. They will not love you despite your story. They will love you because of it. Every chapter you survived, every version of yourself you had to leave behind in order to grow into the person you are now, they will hold all of it with both hands, and none of it will make them hesitate. You will say something once about something that hurt you years ago, something you have never said out loud to anyone, and they will not look at you with pity. They will look at you with reverence, because they understand what it costs to survive with your heart still open. And they will spend a long time making sure that cost was worth it. They will choose you publicly, not just in private, not just in the soft moments when it is easy, but in front of people, in rooms where it might raise eyebrows, in situations where a lesser person might have hedged or kept you at a careful distance. They will stand beside you without apology. And when others question it, and some will, they will answer with quietness that carries more certainty than any argument, because for them, choosing you requires no defense. It simply requires honesty. You will feel young again, not because age disappears, but because real love, the kind that sees you fully and wants you anyway, has a way of returning something to you that you thought was gone forever. A lightness, a sense of possibility, a feeling that the best of your life is not archived in the past, but is being written right now, in real time, by someone who is choosing you deliberately and joyfully every single day. That life is not fantasy. That life has your name on it, and it is closer than you have allowed yourself to believe. You came here today because something pulled you, and now you know what that something was. It was the part of you that has not given up, the part that is still awake underneath all the protection, all the quiet grief, all the carefully constructed reasons why this kind of love was not available for someone like you anymore. That part of you, the part that clicked, that stayed, that listened to every word of this message, that part knew before your mind did. It knew that the story is not finished. You are not someone who gets a lesser love. You are not someone who gets the leftover version, the almost version, the love that requires you to be grateful for the bare minimum. You are someone who gets the real thing, and the real thing, in the season of your life, is arriving in a form you did not predict. Younger, ready, clear-eyed, unafraid of your depth and unbothered by your history. But they need something from you, not perfection, not youth, not a version of you that has never been broken. They need the version of you that has been broken and chose every single time, even when it was hard, even when no one was watching, to put yourself back together. They need you to stop apologizing for being that person. The condition was never about proving yourself worthy. It was about accepting, fully, finally, without the asterisk of doubt, that you already are. You did not stop here by accident. You stopped here because some part of you was ready to hear this, ready to receive it, ready to carry it back into your life and let it change the way you walk into rooms and accept warmth and speak about yourself when you think no one important is listening. That readiness, that quiet, unannounced, deeply real readiness is a condition, and you just met it. If this message reached you today, if something in these words landed in a place that needed landing, this channel exists to keep doing exactly that. Every video is written for the person who needs it most at the moment they need it. Subscribe right now, hit the bell and select all notifications, and let the next message find you exactly when it is meant to. You belong here. Go now and let yourself be loved.